Hi, hi, good evening. Austin Mayor Steve Adler. Got a minute? We're going to talk about the power. We're going to talk about the water. We're going to talk about vaccines, and then we're going to close tonight by taking a look at the virus numbers. The data is incomplete because of the hard to keep track of good numbers here over the last week, as you might imagine. So we're gonna just touch on that briefly. But let's begin with updates with the crisis we've all been dealing with. I mean, God, what an incredible last couple weeks. It'd be one thing if we were just dealing with a pandemic, just a pandemic. But to be dealing with trying to vaccinate several hundred million people, if we were just focusing on that, that would be incredible. But layer on top of that a power outage, unlike anything that we've ever seen before. And then if that wasn't enough, layer on top of that the water, the loss of water, the need to boil water. I mean, what an incredible couple of weeks. But the weather was beautiful today, and it was warm, and you can begin to see the light at the end of this tunnel, even though there's so many people still hurting at the moment and still so much work left to be done. And even when we finish that, we are just exiting into the pandemic, which the virus that we have to continue to focus on. Austin Energy tells us that almost everybody whose power was affected by the winter conditions now has electricity again. In fact, there's electrical service now in the entire service area. There are a few, perhaps, locations that are out of power. Crews are continuing to work any and all remaining outages that they can find. There's a lot for us to learn from the power. We're going to need better answers to all the questions that we have. How did we get here, and how do we not get here again? While most of those involve the state, it was good to see the governor step up and take responsibility. I personally think it's a question of a deregulated market that provides no market incentives for people to actually weatherize and buy the protections for extreme situations that we need to build in, either require or find economic incentives for. But we also have things we need to look at here locally, like how do we increase the ability for us to have smaller circuits so that we have more circuits without critical infrastructure attached to them, so that we can do more of a rolling blackout situation if we're ever in a similar situation. But there'll be time to look at those things. Let's take care of the people right now that need water and need food and need help. The boil water notice that we have in the city used to be citywide. It no longer is. Let me show you what the map looks like now with a boil water notice map, and you can see here the city of Austin is in green. Let me make sure that you all can be seeing this. You probably haven't been able to see much, just hearing my voice. Let me see if I can get you the boil water notice map. Okay. All right. I think we're back now again. I apologize for that. Let me see if I can get you the chart that I've been trying to. This is the map that would show the boil water notice areas. Let's see if we can see this. Okay, so here's the city. The areas that's shown in green are the areas right now that you no longer have to boil water in. This includes the central area and the east part of the city, which is part of that central area. There's the north area that you can now have water without boiling, the south area, also northwest A. So everything in green right now, you don't have to boil water. The water folks tell us that there's water pressure in the areas here that are, what is that, tan or something like that. This tan area that you see is in Northwest B and in Northwest C. We also have Southwest A and Southwest B and maybe Southwest C. These are the areas that actually have water, but you have to boil still. The best estimate at this point, apparently the water department has taken samples and is analyzing those. It takes 24 hours to do that. If everything goes well, then we could be water department could be removing the boil requirement for these remaining parts in the city. So most of the city right now is open. These last have water pressure. I would urge everybody still, let's conserve as best we can until we're all back to where it is that we all want to be. But it's good to see us seeing the light at the end of that tunnel. If you need food and you can't get food, tomorrow there's going to be some food distributed at the Millennium Youth Complex tomorrow. If you can't make it to the complex, you can call 311. It's times tomorrow estimated to be about 1 to 6 p.m. It's 1156 Hargrove Street in Austin. Drive-through is preferred. Walk-ups are accepted too. 10,000 meals given out today, about 7,500 of them at the Millennium. I think the Mayor Pro Tem, Harper Madison, was there working and greeting people. About 2,500 meals out of the 10 were made available to individuals and to some of the service groups in our city that form our infrastructure to help get food out to folks that are in need. Tomorrow, anticipated, we'll give out another 10,000 meals. 10,000 meals. About 5,000 of them will be at the Millennium Center. About 2,500, about 2,500 will go to individuals. About 2,500 will go to community groups. That's what you should do for food. Again, if you can't make it to a complex and you need food, call 311, and the folks will find a provider and a service to be able to help you. If you again, everybody in the city that needs food, we need to find it. The city is continuing to check with the state. There's an order in for additional 20,000, nearly 20,000 in meals to arrive. Where to get water? If you are unable to purchase water, and it's in a lot of the stores that are now open. Worked real hard, the city did, to get energy and water to the grocery stores and so they could open. But if that's not available to you, if you have water in your home, I would suggest you boil it. Run it at a running boil for 2 minutes, let it cool, and then it's as good as any bottled water that you would get. But if you're in a place where you don't have the running water, even to boil to get, or for whatever reason you're in a kind of a desperate place, know that there are 5 pods open tomorrow to deliver water, one at Onion Creek, one at Nelson Field, one at Garrison, one at Guerrero, and one up in the northwest at Lakeline. The city had about 10 pods open yesterday, similar number open today, with another about a half dozen in the county just outside of the city. Yesterday gave out over 42,000 cases of water. As of 2 p.m. today, a total of 2.1 million bottles of water had been handed out. I think there was about 1.3 yesterday, about 900,000 today by 2 p.m. And it was continuing on in the evening. Again, tomorrow, 5 pods open. We listed them. They start at 9 o'clock. Trash collection. Austin Resource Recovery resumed curbside collections today. Set out your carts, your bulk and large brush by 6:30 on your scheduled collection day. Extra bags of trash from last week's missed collection will be collected along with the extra recycling and composting, and that will happen at no extra charge. So that's water and that's food for the people we can identify, the people that can call 911, the people who are getting food with Meals on Wheels and with the food bank. We've worked to make sure that they are geared up and can start doing the work. AISD is doing their meals for the children and their families, for caregivers. So that infrastructure is back up and operating. We also recognize probably some people potentially that might not be able to raise their hand and let us know where they are. There are welfare check programs going on by the groups that ordinarily are out in communities where there might be people that could get lost or not be seen. In addition to that, there was an initiative started by the council. Ann Kitchen took the early lead. I was real pleased to be able to help her set that up. A lot of council offices got involved. We used the Democratic Party's voter list in a nonpartisan way. Not the voter list, but just the voter list for the entire area. Identified those that were over 75, lowered it later to those that were over 70, and then just started calling to them. Took out the people that had responded to the calls from Beto that he and his group had made, and then made 2-3 passes with phone calls to that population, identifying some people that were asking for immediate assistance, also identifying a list of people that just didn't respond to any of those touches, sent out some texts to that group. Again, to try and find folks that needed help. A lot of volunteers, many organized by the council offices, working off that list of people that identify needing welfare checks, and the city and the county and their partners continuing to try to reach out and find people that can't as easily raise their hands. Hey, we lobbied the federal government to grant the extraordinary emergency declaration for Travis County. The president did that for select counties in Texas, including Travis County. That means that it's possible as individual businesses or just individuals to get support from the federal government, low interest loans and the like, to be able to do repairs on your home. So if you impacted by that, FEMA assistance is available. You can just go to disasterassistance.gov, which is a site available to us that you should see. Let's real fast here. I just want to show you what that site Looks like it's just real easy to go and to find. Here it is. Again, disasterassistance.gov. Disasterassistance.gov. You just come in here, you put in your zip code. This is the one in downtown Austin. It checks to confirm that Travis County is in fact one of the eligible counties, and then you can start applying online for that assistance. If you have insurance, file your claim first with your insurance folks, then apply to FEMA. Everybody, make sure that you take pictures before you do any repair work. Keep all your receipts. Document everything you can. When you're dealing with FEMA, there's going to be no end to the amount of documentation that they ask for. So make sure that you get that. There is assistance for people that are trying to do cleanup now in their homes. Maybe you had a broken pipe or the like. ADRN, Austin Disaster Relief Network, been an incredible help through this entire process. And there are thousands of volunteers. Set up an 800 number. That's 1-800-329-8052. That's 1-800-329-8052. There's probably a way to get this to show up other than what I just did. But there's the number, 1-800-329-8052. And they will help with debris and with cleanup efforts. If you need other assistance, call their survivor hotline. That's 512-806-0800. That's the ADRN survivor hotline. I'll give you that number too, so that you have it. That's not the one that I meant, but I appreciate that message nonetheless. ADRN Survivor Hotline at 512-806-0800. That's for other kinds of assistance. Hey, I want to say thank you. There were unbelievable crises that have hit that we're still working our way through, and just thousands of people that stepped forward. And that's what it takes when something like this happens in a community. I want to thank first all the utility workers, the folks at Austin Energy that were out 24/7 putting the system back together again. And that is not a job without risk, and it takes incredible coordination. When a worker touches a line, somebody back in the office needs to have turned it off. And you have so many crews out in so many places and such pressure to be trying to turn on lines. It's dangerous work, and they were out 24/7 trying to get the power on as fast as they could. It's exacerbated in this cold weather with ice on limbs falling down and breaking lines. I want to thank the transportation, the Austin Energy, the Austin Water folks that got the plant up and running, that are even still now going out and taking care of leaks and pipeline breaks. Still so many in our city, but getting the system back up. Most of the city tonight, just having regular water. You don't have to boil anything except for Northwest and Southwest. I want to thank the transportation workers at all levels, the workers with Cap Metro that were out continuing to help get people moving around the city, even when a lot of us were not able to drive and didn't want to take that risk. Cap Metro was out there. I appreciate that they're offering free rides to pods to get water and just free rides. So thank you, Cap Metro, an incredible partner for our community. I want to thank all the volunteers that were out giving people rides, the volunteers through the Austin Disaster Relief Network and otherwise, the small community groups that formed. I want to thank the first responders, our police that were out, continue to be out, again, in really dangerous situations. helping to keep the city moving forward, helping to keep us safe. EMS, dealing with all of the health issues. The workers there are incredible. I want to thank the fire department that was out working. I also want to thank the Fire Department Association that has been out working out of their local, taking water and food to the people that are identified as needing help and assistance. I want to thank all the doctors and nurses that were working in the hospitals under really brutal conditions to keep them open, even when they didn't have water and they didn't have power, to make sure that they were continuing to operate. I've watched up close the folks in the Emergency Operations Center, representatives from all the different departments and agencies and community organizations all in one space talking to each other through their masks. TV screens, emergency screens all around them, having calls multiple times a day. It takes an army to respond to something like this. They are continuing to have multiple meetings starting early in the morning till late at night. In fact, I just finished one of those calls before I got on here. One of the reasons why the call tonight was delayed. I want to thank my colleagues on the council, the Mayor Pro Tem and others, for the work that they've been doing in their districts, organizing support, organizing volunteers, organizing the efforts to feed people and make sure that people get water. This has been a really hands-on week for my colleagues on the council, and I want to thank them. Special thanks to Austin Disaster Relief Network and its thousands of volunteers, all the restaurants that stepped forward, the Austin Mutual Aid folks, the Austin Area Urban League, out raising money and putting it to good use. The Survive to Thrive Foundation, one among many that were helping people off our streets and getting into hotels so that they were protected. I hope we're going to be able to take advantage of the work that those folks did to try and keep those folks without shelter now that they're off our streets, to help try and keep them off our streets. Thanks to the Democratic Party and all the volunteers that did those welfare calls, tens and tens of thousands of reaching out to people over 75 and over 70. The Red Cross has helped us with meals that we're giving out at the Millennium right now. They found us a trailer with 10,000 meals in San Antonio and told us if we could go hook a cab to it, we could pull it off. And that's what we did and brought it back up here. I want to thank Meals and Wheels in Central Texas and just so many other people. It is an entire community, hundreds of organizations that come together to make something like this happen. Next steps, the city's working to get those last areas with water back on line, making sure that the food providers have all the energy and power that they need, keep the food going out at the Millennium as well as the individual places. Next 4 or 5 days are going to be critical for food access. And we're going to focus on that and bringing everybody back into the water and starting helping the people return to their lives, helping people fix the pipes and get the materials to be able to do that. Let me turn real fast to the vaccine. For the last 2 days, in the middle of all of this, Austin Public Health has given out about 3,000 vaccines at the AISD Performing Arts Center. Tomorrow, there's going to be 3 locations. And by Saturday and Sunday, there'll probably be 2 more because of Austin Public Health redoubling efforts to make sure that we get vaccinations out and catch up. If you had a canceled appointment, you were going to be rescheduled by Austin Public Health. They'll reach out to you. So watch your texts and your emails so that you can see when they're reaching out to you. For folks who don't have that technology, they'll be calling you on the phone. Be looking for those updates. The Travis County is working on even getting additional vaccines to be able to distribute. And it looks like that's going to happen out at Coda this weekend. focusing on clientele with community care. Community care was able to get a direct allocation from the federal government. That means that we're going to be able to get vaccines out to even more folks in our community, especially those that are dealing with the challenges the most. I want to close by taking just a really quick look at the numbers that we had tonight, key indicator chart. Let me see if we can share screens so that you can see this. This again is what is on the website, but it's not really complete. You can see admissions 34. That gets us down to here, the lower end of the orange area. We're going to see if we can sustain this, having gone through what we've gone through the last week and a half. But at some point, hopefully we can get down in this yellow area if people will continue to mask and social distance. When we get out of the water issue, get out of the energy issue, we are in a pandemic. I wonder, 397 cases is higher than what we were saying as we were looking at this a couple of weeks ago, but that number could just be that a lot of people were not getting tested when it was hard to get tested, and they're getting tested when they're getting tested now. But we don't have the 7-day moving average because the numbers just have been really bad for us to be able to calculate that. But we do have some indications maybe of what we're looking at. This is the second chart that we always take a look at. You can see that the number of people hospitalized tonight, 338, just by way of comparison. On February 12th, so 10 days ago, just before all this was hitting the way that it was hitting, this 338 number was 364. The number in ICUs today, 104. On the 12th of February, it was 109. 69 in ventilators on February 12th, it was 70. So close to those numbers, but still headed, it appears, in the correct direction. This 74,206, I don't believe. I think that's low. My guess is we could be close to, if not over, 75,000 at this point. But we're just going to have to check that. Those are all the numbers that I have. Sorry I went for so long this evening, but I really wanted to talk about the water and the energy. The city council is going to be meeting on Thursday of this week, passing some immediate steps to waive fees and to waive inspections for people that are having new repairs on their homes. We'll be taking action to make sure there are no late fees for utility payments, trying to help people as much as we can. And when there's council is going to give a resolution asking the manager to try to mitigate the impact in just as many different ways as we can think of. With that, I hope that you're all staying safe. I hope that you're in a home tonight that has some water, and everybody hopefully should have some power. But take care. We're still working our way out of this challenge, but we'll get there together. Good night.